Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're looking at a place you might usually think of for peace and quiet. Lovely beaches, heritage spots, Ras Al Khaimah or RAK. It's about an hour, maybe a bit more north of Dubai, but things are changing there dramatically.
Yeah.
Suddenly being talked about as, well, a really hot real estate opportunity in the Gulf. And the trigger, a huge investment. We're talking $4 billion from a major global luxury brand. And it's not just one hotel. No, it's a whole destination they're building. The idea is what, over 5.5 million visitors a year by 2030?
That's the projection, yes. Ambitious.
And the market reaction, it was pretty much immediate, wasn't it? We saw prices jump. Apartments, like over 100%.
Over 100% in some cases, yes. And villas saw significant rises too, around 27%. It was a very sharp response.
So that's what we want to dig into today. What's really behind this growth spurt now? And maybe more importantly for you listening, should Ras Al Khaimah be higher on your radar? Let's get into it with our expert. Maybe first, could you just paint a picture for us? For anyone not familiar, beyond near Dubai or the beaches, what's RAK's story been like, say, over the last 10 years?
Sure. It's a good place to start because RAK always had, let's say, the raw materials, that amazing coastline, the mountains nearby, and yes, being close to Dubai helps. But for a long time, that potential maybe wasn't fully realized like in other emirates. What's changed really over the last decade or so is very focused leadership, a real drive to diversify the economy. They've put serious money into tourism infrastructure, but also the basics, better roads, hospitals, schools, those crucial free zones for business.
So building blocks, really, not flashy stuff initially.
Exactly, foundational work. And now, this huge luxury project, it's like bang, suddenly the world is noticing what was quietly being built.
Yeah. That $4 billion project, it feels less like a spotlight, maybe more like a flare gun fired into the sky for investors.
Aha, that's one way to put it. Its impact is massive. And it's not just the dollar amount. The $4 billion is, well, substantial.
Right.
It's who is behind it. This is a globally trusted luxury brand. They pick winners, they choose spots with proven potential or very strong future prospects.
So it's a kind of validation.
Precisely. It sends a powerful signal. Other big developers, other hotel groups, serious investors, they see this and think, okay, RAK is playing in the big leagues now.
Yeah.
It elevates the whole perception. It says RAK is ready for premium development, premium business.
Okay, signals out there, loud and clear. Who's actually answering the call right now? Who are the buyers?
Yeah.
Is it mainly inventors jumping in or people planning to live there?
It's actually a really interesting mix, which tells you something. We're definitely seeing international investors, Europeans, Asians. They're looking at the value, the potential returns compared to, say, more established markets. They see room for growth, good potential yields.
Yields meaning rental returns, right?
Exactly. Rental income versus the property price. But, and this is important, there's also a big wave of interest from within the UAE itself. People living in Dubai, Abu Dhabi. They're looking at RAK differently now, maybe for a weekend place, maybe even as their main home.
And you mentioned value. How does RAK stack up price-wise against Dubai or Abu Dhabi, even after these jumps?
Well, it started from a much lower baseline. So even with prices going up significantly, your cost per square foot in RAK for a comparable quality or location can still be much lower. We're talking potentially 30, 40, sometimes even 50% less than similar properties in prime Dubai or Abu Dhabi spots.
Wow, that's quite a difference.
It is. And that gap, combined with the feeling that RAK is on the upswing, makes it very attractive, both for investors wanting better potential returns and residents just wanting more space for their money.
Let's talk about that lifestyle aspect. How does actually living in RAK feel different from, say, the pace of Dubai? What's the unique draw?
I think it's about finding a different gear. You still get high standards, modern facilities, that beautiful coast, more nature around you, but it's without that sheer density, the constant sort of high-octane energy of Dubai.
More relaxed.
Definitely more relaxed, more spacious. Imagine, a beachfront place where you actually hear the waves clearly, or a villa with real privacy, room for kids to run around. So who's it for? Well, families often love it. Retirees seeking calm, but still wanting amenities. Maybe professionals who work partly in Dubai, but want a different vibe at home. It's premium, but quieter.
Okay, let's get back to those numbers. Over 100% for apartments, 27% for villas. That sounds huge. Is that sustainable, or was it just the initial shockwave from the announcement?
Look, that initial spike was a reaction, a demand shock, purely driven by that huge news. You can't expect that rate constantly. But when you look beyond that initial burst, the fundamentals seem solid for continued growth, maybe at a more measured pace. RAK has what we might call a good runway. Tourism is growing, businesses are setting up, creating jobs, more people are choosing to live there. And because it started lower, price-wise.
There's still room to grow.
Exactly. There's headroom for appreciation as the emirate develops further, as infrastructure matures. It feels less like a bubble and more like a market entering a real growth phase. It's a medium, maybe long-term story.
So if someone's looking now, thinking the fundamentals are sound, where are the main areas of interest, the hot spots, so to speak?
Well, Al Marjan Island is definitely ground zero. It's got the beaches, it's freehold, which is key for international buyers.
Freehold meaning you own the land outright.
Correct. Not just a long lease. And obviously it's got massive visibility because of the big result project there. That's the focal point. But we're also seeing lots of interest in places like Mina Al Arab, another lovely coastal area. And even some well-planned inland communities are gaining traction. They're creating their own resort-style feel, sometimes with branded residences.
And project types, off-plan versus ready.
Both are active. Off-plan buying before it's built is very popular. People are hoping for capital gains as the project progresses and the market rises. But ready properties are also in demand, especially from investors who want to rent them out straight away and start getting that yield.
Okay. Now, every investment has risks. What should someone thinking cautiously about RAK be looking at? What's the homework they need to do?
Absolutely crucial. Due diligence is key, especially when things move fast. First, look at the developer. Do they have a solid track record? Do they deliver on time, deliver quality? Location within RAK also matters. How well connected is it now? What infrastructure plans are confirmed nearby? And yes, the infrastructure overall is improving fast, but it's not Dubai yet. That's part of the opportunity, but you need to understand the current state.
So manage expectations on timelines.
Precisely, and remember the timeline. Think medium to long term. This isn't likely a get-rich-quick flip. It's about positioning for growth over, say, next 5-10 years, as RAK's vision really takes shape.
Speaking of 5 years, fast forward, where do you see RAK sitting in the regional picture then?
I see it carving out a really interesting niche, maybe like a sophisticated boutique hub. It won't try to be Dubai.
Complementary, not competitive.
Exactly. It could attract a slice of the global tourism market and residents who want that premium quality, but also value, tranquility, nature, space. I think the second home market could become very strong there. You might see more international buyers using things like the golden visa options to have a base there. And interestingly, I think RAK has a real shot at becoming a leader in cultural tourism, ecotourism too. Leveraging its unique landscape and history, it can offer something different.
A boutique hub. I like that description.
Right.
Okay, final thought then. For someone listening today, maybe RAK wasn't really on their map before, but now they're curious. What's your parting advice?
My advice is usually to look a bit deeper than the obvious, most famous places. Often the best investments are where the fundamentals are really strong, leadership, assets, infrastructure plans, but the market is still, let's say, finding its feet. And that feels like a pretty good description of Ras Al Khaimah right now. Getting involved at this stage. It's not just about buying a property. In a way, you're kind of buying time.
Buying time.
Yeah, getting in before that full potential is obvious to everyone and fully priced in. Positioning yourself for the story as it unfolds.
That's a really powerful way to frame it. Not just the asset, but the timing within the market's journey. Thank you. That's been incredibly insightful.
It was my pleasure.
So for you, our listener, it's clear Ras Al Khaimah is definitely more than just a quiet neighbor anymore. It's a market in transformation, attracting serious global attention. And as we often discuss here, understand the timing, the phase of development a market is in. Well, they can make all the difference. So here's a final thought to leave you with. Maybe the most rewarding places to invest are those with strong bones, good fundamentals, but they're still early enough in their growth story that the full value isn't quite recognized yet. Could looking at RAK now be less about the square footage and more about capturing that specific moment in time? Something to think about.